All right, folks. Hello and welcome back to We Slay Dragons. Been away for a while, been busy, been doing some miniature painting, been doing some board games, playing a Pokemon Nuzlocke with some friends. But today we are back. We are going to do the second scenario out of the quick start rules. This is Noble Feud, which calls for both the attacker and the defender have the same team of a Marauder, a Warhammer, a Hatchetman, and a Firestarter. And this actually turned into kind of a good thing. I only have one Hatchetman standee from the print-ups. But that's okay. I'm actually going to show you a way to have reusable stand-ups, some Papertech, for next to free. And I made these using just 3x5 cards, some packing tape so that I can write on them with dry erase marker. I can be like Hatchetman, front, and then this is the back. And I can reuse this. I can use this for any mech that I need it to be. So really all you need is a strip of paper. You want to be able to either fold it in half or maybe have it be cardstock or something. Anyways, you want it to be maybe an inch wide, 2 inches tall. And then you can take these binder clips, which I got from the dollar store. You can get them in a nice bin of like 30 of them. And all you do is you take the clip it on the bottom, and then you can squeeze the little levers to pull it out of there. Then you have a nice base for your little standee. Nice and weighted at the bottom, stands up fine. And since you put packing tape, which you can also get from the dollar store, on either side of it, it now becomes a dry erase surface. So there we go. We have a Hatchetman. Now, I did this using 3x5 cards, which is great because it gets you 3 strips of 5 inches. And I cut off that last inch, so it'd just be a clean fold into 2-inch height. You could leave the last inch on and then fold a 1/2 inch on the bottom side so that you can do little standees and just glue them together like that, or you can use a paper clip to hold them together instead of even needing glue. But since I was doing it this way, and I didn't need that last inch, I took those and I made another smaller standee out of here. And we're not going to be using it today, but little 1-inch tall standees. This is going to be perfect for infantry and for tanks, battle armor. You can still use little 1-inch tall ones for the combined arms units. So hold on to those, throw them together. They will still be useful. Now, as far as what we are doing with today's game, it is the Noble Feud. Randall's Records have pushed their luck one too many times. They've taken a contract with a local planetary noble to raid his neighbor for some slight or another. Something about a disputed deed to a factory. But the arrogant employer felt the need to taunt his enemy first, and now you face the Tikhonov Rangers, a pretentious name of a fellow band of mercenaries you are very familiar with. Somebody is going to have to earn their contract today. So we've got Randall's Wreckers and Tikhonov Rangers. Doesn't really matter what they're called. Goal here is to be the first side to destroy 2 enemy units. We're going to have one side starting over here. We're going to have another side starting over here. They both have the exact same mechs. Everything is skill 3. So veterans across the board. And we're going to roll for deployment. Here I have another great dollar store purchase. Having a tape measure, this is one of the best upgrades you can grab if you haven't picked up a tape measure yet. Just bring like $6 to the dollar store. Grab yourself tape measure, binder clips, package of 3x5 cards, and some tape. You're golden. You're so golden. All right, so let's Got our boys separated out. And we will roll for deployment. And then we'll roll for initiative. There's a number of ways you can do that. Some people like to do walk-on deployment, where you take your first turn walking on from the edge. We're going to go ahead and deploy within the first 6 inches. Get things started off a little bit faster. All right, so I guess we'll do attackers over here, defenders over here. I don't remember which one's which. It doesn't matter. We've got a 7 and a 7, so we are going to re-roll. Another 7 and a 3. So these guys over here win the initiative. Again, that means they move last. So we're going to have our fellas over here start off. Warhammer is going to want to go towards these woods, I think, and get some cover. And over on this side, we're going to have our Marauder, the only unit that has overheat, start heading towards the water. Now, usually, you'll see people moving their slower units first. Makes sense to me. Because then you save your little guys for last to run in and cause all sorts of trouble. Standing in water also gives you a +1. Just gonna march out into the open, I guess. Hatchet Man, as much as he likes to be in melee, I don't know that he's gonna get to do much. Both sides want to be fairly conservative since it's first to 2 losses loses. Man, then the fire starter on a rough edge. I'm thinking for the there we go. All right. See who goes first. 5 for the attacker. 10 for the defender. Defender wins initiative. That means the attacker has to move first. And we are going to have our Marauder march right into the water. It's 6 inches up to the water's edge. And then we lose an inch of movement for each inch in the water we are. So he has 2 inches of movement left. Can move 1 inch barely into the water, but it's enough to get that partial cover and also the free heat sink, so he can overheat his 1 each turn without actually building heat. Go ahead and move the hammer up, what, 5 inches. The hammer's got a move of 8. Oh yeah, no, you're fine. I think you do the same. we're just going to have a pretty brutal shootout here. Once you start playing with stuff that breaks up line of sight, like buildings or taller hills, that's where you'll start seeing a bit more interesting movement, and you'll start seeing certain units prefer certain terrain. Let's see. Hatchet Man, I think, come over here, start heading towards Fire Starter. Well, this Hatchet Man really play this Warhammer, get into melee range. So I think I misspoke last time I did this. There's a difference between physical and melee attacks. A physical attack is the physical attack that any mech has, and that is done when you're within 1 inch range between 2 mechs. And that uses your size for damage, and you just roll to hit as normal. Perfect. Great. Melee is a special that, like, the Hatchet Man has to represent his axe. So he can use his melee within 2 inches instead of 1. It's -1 on hit, and it's +1 on damage. So he really wants to get in there because he'll get a -1 on what's already close range or short range, and he can swing for 3 damage, which is his strongest attack. So getting that Hatchet Man in close, definitely something that we want to do. Let's see, our Fire Starter, we're going to go ahead and make him run. So if they run, they move 50% further. He can already move 12 inches. So 50% of 12 is 6. He can move an additional 6 inches, 18 inches. We just happen to have a 6-inch measuring stick. So 1, 2, and 3. Start trying to work his way into the rear of some of these guys. Remember, if your firing line passes through the rear edge of another mech, you're doing an additional point of damage. Their Fire Starter's turn. With that Hatchet Man over there, I don't know that he's too interested in making that run. I think he's just going to join the firing line. He can get in there, no problem. Now, when you're shooting out of the woods, the first inch around you doesn't affect you. It's only if you're shooting out of more than an inch that it starts to be a bother. I think it used to be 2 inches, but recently got errata. You can find the errata on the Battletech's or the Battletech download section. I'm pretty sure it got changed to that, if it was ever 2 inches. Hard to say. It's hard to keep track of all these darn rules. That's just me. This is actually a very simple rule set. Classic Battletech honestly isn't that complicated either. It's just like a million charts, and then like there's a bunch of supplemental rule books if you want to really get into the thick of it and do interesting things like, you know, aerospace and artillery, tactical nukes, stuff like that. All right, so the attackers lost initiative. They have to do all their shooting first. The Fire Starter, since he sprinted, can't shoot. The Marauder is going to take a shot at this Hatchet Man. I think that's going to be medium range. Definitely outside of 6 inches, but also certainly closer than 24. So it's going to be a +2 to hit. And he's also going to overheat. So at medium range, he does 3. Skill 3. Range brings it up to 5. TMM on the Hatchet Man brings it up to 6. And that's that. There's nothing else in between them. So he needs a 6 to hit for 4 damage with that overheat. That's a 9. Good hit. Hatchet Man is taking 4, which goes internal. So now we get to check on our critical hits table what kind of crit the Hatchet Man took. 3. Ooh, that is an engine hit. So he's going to take +1 heat every turn that he fires his weapons, including the turn that he took the engine hit on. Warhammer wants to put some fire into the Hatchet Man as well. Are we within 6 inches? No, we are not. Just outside. We're also at medium range. Skill 3. Medium range to 5. TMM of 1 to 6. Hitting on a 6. Barely. So 3 more damage to the Hatchet Man, and that is the rest of his structure. He is going to be dead at the end of this turn. He still gets his firing phase, though. And then we have our Hatchet Man over here. Let's... on the one hand, that fire starter is going to be way faster to take down, but it's also got higher TMM. Let's do it. Let's go for... Or do we want to burn down the Warhammer? It's hard to say. No, let's bring down the fire starter. I bet we can take out the fire starter faster. So, Hatchet Man, skill 3, medium range for 5, +2 for the TMM, brings us up to 7, plus another one for the woods. Hatchet Man will do 2 damage on an 8 or higher. 8! Everybody hit. That's a good day. So 2 damage for the Defender Firestarter. That's all the shots for the attackers. The defenders are going to take their turn now. I think they want to eliminate that Hatchet threat. It's only TMM of 1. Everything is in range of it. Hi, Tate. You go away. No. All right. Cat has been removed. The Hatchet Man, even though he has fire raining down upon him, he's going to shoot his shot into the other Hatchet Man, the squishiest target. So we are looking at medium range, skill 3, medium range 5, TMM of 1, hitting on 6 for 2 damage. That is a hit. 2 damage to the guy. And then let's also have... Will both the Marauder and the Warhammer do enough damage without him overheating? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, indeed they will. All right. Marauder's going to shoot his shot. Also a 6. Hits for 3 damage. 2, 3. We've gone internal, so we do a critical check. Oh, no! That's awesome. That is a headshot. Unit destroyed. Dead. Dead Hatchet Man. Which opens up the Warhammer to fire on. Play him. Both of these guys have done. They're getting removed regardless. And that frees up the Warhammer and the Firestarter to shoot at the attacking Warhammer. So let's do that. We're still looking at 6s to hit. 3 damage at medium range. That's a hit. 3 damage to the attacking Warhammer. 2, 3. Firestarter is going to go ahead and take his shot as well. He only does 1 damage at medium range, but hey, that's more than 0. And that's a hit. That is all of the shots. Both hatchet men have been destroyed. Now, a good habit to get into is don't erase your cards right away, because you want to get in the habit of doing this for campaigns. And campaigns are something that I'll talk about next time. There's a great free Alpha Strike rule set for campaign play, and that is really where Battletech's strategy starts to come alive, and you start seeing yourself using mechs that you wouldn't normally use. Because in campaign play, you need to worry beyond the first game. Sometimes taking a tactical retreat is much more important. Keep your repair costs down. Certain mechs seem much better when suddenly you have to worry about repairing them. So we'll cover campaigning next time, especially in Alpha Strike, because I've got some free rule sets that I'm going to share with you guys. Okay, so we're going into turn 2 now. Wow, that was an eventful turn 1. Attacker initiative 7, defender initiative. We're looking at an 11. The attackers lose the initiative again and have to move first. We're going to go ahead and move the Marauder just an inch so he can get his TMM. You have to move your mech at least 1 inch away from where they were standing if you want to get your TMM. You can have them stand still, which, you know, makes it -1 easier to shoot. But at the same time, now you're also looking at not having your TMM at all, and it's much easier for the enemy to shoot you. So yeah, we're going to move the Marauder up. And I think I'm going to move their Marauder up to the edge of the field. Let's actually pull our Warhammer back. Can they kill the Warhammer this turn? We're looking at possibly 8 damage, which isn't enough to kill the Warhammer. But we also don't want that fire starter getting behind us. We want to stay within 24 inches of the fire starter. So let's move up, turn this way. It's going to be very hard for the fire starter to get a back shot on the Warhammer. Let's do that. And you know what? It might be easier. This is what I was saying about tactical retreat. I think we're going to pull back the defender's fire starter since he's so low on health. By so low, I mean he can only take 4 more hits out of his 6 that he had. Light mechs. He's actually fairly tanky for a light mech, too. So yeah, let's move up the Warhammer. Hasn't really taken any damage yet. Okay. Firestarter can move 12. There we are. We are getting into close range with that Warhammer. Right, and then their Firestarter, not wanting to get picked off, gonna exit the woods. And that's 6 inches? That's about 6 inches. If you have more than 6 inches of woods between you and something else, the woods are blocking it. I don't know that that's actually... That's not blocking. We'll see. We'll see. We might go for that shot. Okay. That's movement. Let's go to attack phase. Is that still within medium range? Probably. Oh, yes. Very much yes. So I think let's go ahead and try and finish off that fire starter. It's going to be some difficult shots. Easier to just go after the Warhammer. Oh, I don't know. No, let's go for the fire starter. Let's go for the fire starter. The Marauder is going to overheat for potential of 4 damage. This could win the game right here. So we have skill 3, medium range up to 5, TMM of 2 brings it up to 7, and then +1 for the woods. 4 damage hitting on an 8. And that is a miss. Warhammer is also going to take the shot. He also needs an 8. This will do 3 damage. Oh, it's so tragic. All right. Firestarter is going to fire into the Warhammer, I guess. Let's switch things up a little bit. Actually, this Firestarter might be in trouble. He might have gotten a little bit overzealous here. Okay, well, let's go for it. There's always crits. We could get an ammo explosion or a headshot. We'll see how lucky we get. All right, so skill 3, short range, no modifier, TMM of 1 brings us up to 4, standing in woods brings us up to 5, hitting for 2 on a 5, barely hitting the Warhammer for 2. And we also have the Firestarter's heat special. So he does 1 heat on a hit at short range. So that Warhammer is going to gain some heat there. All right. And that is it for the attackers. The defenders are going to go. And I think they have taken issue with this Firestarter over here. Now, this Firestarter is still partially in front of their back line. So he is within their firing arc. Now the Marauder is firing out of more than 1 inch of woods. So these woods are going to affect him. The Warhammer is all set though. So let's have... He's basically undamaged. If both of them hit, he'll be dead. Okay, let's just go ahead and have the Warhammer fire. I think they're both within short range. Yep, they're both within short range. So we're looking at skill 3 plus a TMM of 2, 5. Hits on a 5 for 3. Oh god, that's tragic. Marauder taking the same shot. This will only actually do 2 damage since he's more of a long-range mech. Okay, 2 damage to the attacking Firestarter. And the defending Firestarter is also going to take a shot. Definitely crosses through some woods, but not 6 inches of woods, because they're kind of broken up here. So we are looking at skill 3, medium range 5. MMF 2 brings it up to 7. Firing through woods, 8. We will do 1 damage on an 8. Nothing. All right, nothing exploded this turn. I'm a little sad. Going into turn 3, we've got initiative for the attackers. 11. And 4 for the defenders. Attackers finally winning an initiative. The defenders... going to move Marauder back. Again, worried about this Firestarter. Warhammer is still not really in too much trouble. Again, worried about that Firestarter getting behind him. Warhammer is so going to move. Marauder, just shuffle up an inch. Stay in that water. Firestarter, can he make 12 inches to get behind this Warhammer? He certainly can. But there's also this fire starter to be concerned about. I think it's worth it, because the other fire starter can't take him out. 6. And we still want to be more than an inch away so that we're not forced into melee. We are good. Warhammer's about to have a bad day. And our fire starter is going to jump. Definitely. 12. Going to jump right here. For jumping, we don't have to worry about the woods. But it's also going to make it +2 for us to hit. But it puts him in a pretty safe position because his TMM is now 3, and he's standing in woods. The Marauder and the Warhammer can't shoot at him. Okay, that's it for the movement. Defenders have to attack first, and I think we're going to start off with the fire starter firing into the rear of the Warhammer. TMM of 3, or skill of 3, short range, TMM of 1, 4, hitting on 4 for 3 damage, because again, we're in the rear arc. Wow. just barely. 3 damage and a point of heat to the Warhammer. That's his armor stripped. Still no structure damage though, so no critical hit. Warhammer firing into the Warhammer. He's at +1 because of his heat. So skill 3, heat brings it up to 4. TMM of 1, 5. Just a bit more than 6 inches. Medium range, 7. Hitting on 7 for 3. That is a hit. 3 damage to the structure. Got 3 left, but we're also rolling a crit. Oh no! It's another headshot. 2 in the same game. Mech destroyed. We'll see if we can turn this into a tie. If the attackers can also get a kill this turn, it'll be a tie. We'll see who had the higher point value on their kills. That Warhammer going down is rough. Rough! Alright, the Marauder still has a shot to shoot. We might as well send it into this Marauder. Skill 3. +2 for range. 5. TMM. 6. Partial cover. 7. 3 damage on a 7. Nice! 3 damage to the Marauder. The defenders are defending. they're doing the job they're being paid to do. So that's it. Warhammer Marauder fire starter, all shot. Now for the attackers. They probably want to try taking out the enemy Warhammer so that they can make this a tie. That's how I'm going to do the tie break. Is by what mechs got killed. Alright. Will that be enough? Or we can, if we hit everything, we can take out the Warhammer. Let's overheat the Marauder again for 4 damage. Skill 3. Medium range 5. TMM 6. Standing in woods 7. 4 damage on a 7. Good hit. 2, 3, 4. There's structure. Crit check. Wow! I have never seen so many 12s rolled in an Alpha Strike game. That's wild. Okay, well, there's the Warhammer down. Maybe they can get the Firestarter as well. All right, Warhammer. No, he can't shoot the Firestarter. It's behind him. Oh, no. Oh, no. Maybe we'll get a 12 on the Marauder. Why not? Right? There's already been 3 headshots. It could... Why not go for 4? All right, so skill 3, range 5, TMM 6, standing in woods 7. Miss. I think we are going to a draw. Firestarter firing into the back of the Marauder. Well, no, that would be forced melee. He could shoot in the back of the Warhammer, but the Warhammer's dead. He could shoot at the other Firestarter, I guess. All right, skill 3, he jumped 5, medium range 7, TMM 9. 1 damage on a 9 just doesn't seem worth it. That's a miss, and that is game. And we have a tie. A Hatchet Man and a Warhammer destroyed on both sides. Nobody really walked away from this as a victory. I suppose the defenders did. They did their job. They defended. Somebody's getting their pay. Somebody else is probably going to lose some points with the Mercenary Review Board. So that's it for today's battle report. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Again, Battletech and honestly a lot of war games are only as expensive as you make them. Couple of cheap things from the dollar store, and you're really set for all manner of games. And a lot of this stuff also works for Classic as well. And I do plan on getting to Classic as well, and how you can play Classic for cheap or as close to cheap as you possibly can. And maybe we'll even look at Battle Force. Let me know if you guys are interested in seeing Battle Force. That's the strategic level where you kind of zoom out, and instead of one of these equaling 1 mech, one of these equals a lance of mechs. And then you can even go out even further, and you can do strategic Battle Force where one of your units counts as a company or even a battalion. You can scale this game out to an interstellar warfare level. So let me know what you thought of the video. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, we slay dragons, and have a great day. Take care, everybody.